Games at Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life with 10 things that we don't hate, mildly dislike about Devin Townsend. The reason why it's not hate is because it's hard to hate Devin Townsend. Putting the word hate and Devin Townsend together is it just feels wrong. But as always, these are 10 things that we've come up with, read about, thought about, that been like, okay, that's the negative side or the negative stance of an artist we adore. Of course, tongue-in-cheek most of the time, which means I'm going to start with a tongue-in-cheek one.
Yep, go for it.
A skullet. Fucking horrible, innit? The hairstyle back in the day, man. The skullet. No, Devin, I'm glad you shaved and went fully bald, because that ring of hair around your back of your head, it gave you a very unique look, and be you, if that's what you wanted to be, but man, it looked fucking awful.
Well, as a man representing baldness, I was still jealous of that level of hair.
It was really, really long at the back.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like I'm going in the direction of.
Bill Bailey.
Yeah, the Bill Bailey.
So my first one is just never knowing what you're going to get. Whilst I love that he is madly creative, it does mean you have to accept the weird, the eclectic, the wacky, and the sometimes bad in order to get to the genius. And while I would never want to rein him in, but his creativity leads to, because it leads to great songs, but not always to great albums. In my opinion. Yeah,
I agree. I agree. Continuing then with continuing then. It's not continuing. Basically, Physicist. It's an average album, very average album, but happily he thinks that himself. So, you know, we're in sync there, Dev. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of ruined one of mine on this, but I'll come to that anyway and pretend you didn't say that.
Okay.
So anyway, in fact, I'll do it now. Right. Because I didn't know that it ever actually got released.
Okay.
So I wrote that it's not really his fault, but it's a shame Physicist never saw the light of day properly. So I would have loved to hear a Jason You Said Demin project, see where they went with it. But obviously I was wrong. I've never heard it myself. There you go.
So you had that one as well? Or knew the opposite?
I had the opposite of it. I really didn't like Physicist. Because I didn't know it fucking existed.
Yeah, you didn't get to hear it.
There you go. Okay.
Right, the mess he was in around strapping the lad's alien, stopped taking his medication, and he was doing substance abuse, or suffering substance abuse. You know, it's never nice to hear.
No.
And ultimately, you know, while he got himself together, and that's great and all that, it's just, you know, hate reading stories like that. It's like, man. And I hate that people go like, oh yeah, but, you know, if you hadn't done that, we might not have got this. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is it worth destruction of mental health and physical body and take years of your life by doing stupid shit just to get an album? You know, look, when I look at it this way, Devin clean look what we're getting from him. So I'm okay with him not being off his fucking nut and not taking his medication for his bipolar mental health issues and stuff, just so we can, you know, potentially get a weird album.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. Don't need that. Okay, so my next one is Strapping Young Lad. Obviously I don't dislike, or mildly dislike, Strapping Young Lad.
Yeah.
But as much as I love Devin, and I was a big fan of Strapping Young Lad, I get really annoyed with how people go on about Strapping Young Lad. They were a great band at the time. They were progressive, they were heavy, but I struggle with people that seem to kind of look back on Strapping Young Lad as in they were the biggest band of all time.
Yeah.
I get annoyed when I see things like Devin. This actually happened quite a bit with Devin being announced for Bloodstock.
Yep.
And everyone just going, oh, I just hope he plays nothing but Strapping Young Lad.
Yep.
And it's like, really? You know, because I just get annoyed really with how people kind of wish away all the wonderful stuff he did, because it's all about Strapping Young Lad, and it's really not with him.
No, God,
really
no.
Not. It's one kind of avenue of many, many, many avenues.
Absolutely.
And there's lots of brilliant stuff on each one of those avenues. And so it's not a diss on Strapping Young Lad. It's an annoyance that people sort of like pigeonhole him into that one avenue when there's so much more.
Okay, what Brennan's just managed to do was cover 3 of mine in 1. 3.
Well, I'll split mine out. So no wonder I struggled to put this together.
Okay, so I'm gonna do all these 3 in 1. I'm just like, God, and worst thing is you did 2, and then you said the third one. And I was like, are you joking? Right. I also don't like Strapping a Lad. I like Strapping a Lad, but I don't rate them as high as many others do. I find it very, very strange, and weird enough, it only seems to have been the last year.
Yeah.
Which is really, really odd. Which then brings me to the next bit. On social media, at least from the circles I move in, everyone has become a little bit obsessive over Strapping Young Lad. And we'll get to the third reason into that. And I just don't get why. Like, I like them, and I like things like City, and I like Alien and all that. But fuck me, if you said to me, hey, you can only listen to one Devin Townsend album for the rest of your life, any of his work, and that's the only one allowed to. Give me fucking EpiCloud. No, or Addicted, or Empath. What's called it? Do not be handing me a Strapping Young Lad album. That's insane. Which brings me to the third one, which is the Bloodstock 2020 set. Now, I'm generally worried about this. I'm generally worried because this is a huge opportunity for me. I've seen Devin Townsend live, but only has a very low support at Sonisphere. This is a headline slot. I'm considering this a proper heavy Devin Townsend, and I know it's like a choose your own playlist or that kind of thing.
That almost annoyed me.
Well, here's the thing. I looked at it, thought, saw a lot of what I did like, and I'm actually hoping, because there's so many tracks, that actually it's more of a suggestion than anything else.
That's what I'm hoping too, because it was even Spirits with Collide was like just getting not voted by anybody.
Yeah,
just like Strapping Young Lad. That's all we want.
So I'm hoping
a few others.
I'm hoping Devin knows that basically it's like, well, half the set will be Strapping Young Lad, so I'm only going to take half those songs. Because that's how I did Design Manual on set list. I was like, let's be fair. I'm doing Bloodstock. I'm going to do what people want. I'm going to do half Strapping Young Lad set, and whatever it is. But I would generally be so fucking disappointed if that set of Bloodstock is 3/4 Strapping Young Lad. I really, really will be.
Yeah, me too.
And it will tarnish it for me. And I basically, I find it very hard to believe that the majority of people who are saying they love Strapping Young Lad really do love them, or if it's bandwagon jumping. Because where were you when they were big? Because they've never been that big.
No.
And I know nostalgia makes the world go round, but it's a weird thing to get nostalgic about. And I find it almost insulting as well to Devin Townsend, because I would, if I was dividing Devin's career into percentages, I'll put Strapping Young Lad at maybe 20-25%, whereas everything else is the majority. Yeah. Whether it be Devin Townsend Band, or Devin Townsend Project, or Devin Townsend on his solo stuff, Casualties Are Cool and all that. That's a huge chunk of it. And you're basically saying, now fuck all that. Do you want to play the heavy stuff? What, because it's Bloodstock? Behave your fucking self. My God, Europe have headlined that festival. Do not be telling me it's all about the heavy stuff. Particularly, but then don't tell me Devin Townsend amongst that. If I don't get things like Hold On and Divine or I'm forgetting tracks now. When Spirits Will Collide. Kingdom. Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. Grace. All of that because you all needed to hear a 10th Strapping Young Lad track. You selfish fucks, basically.
The only thing, I think the things to hang on to with it are that, firstly, he has said that, aside from the set thing, that, this is him bringing his whole self to this. That's what in his little video that he did about how excited he was being there, he was bringing the best of all of his stuff. So that is one positive. Yep. And the other positive, I think, which we actually touched on in the Love video about Devin Townsend, is that I do genuinely think he does what he wants. Yeah. And I think if everybody voted for nothing but Strapping Young Lad, that what he would do is look at that and go, well, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, I'll take the first 6. And that's what it is.
He's a person who gets dictated to. He does what he wants. He will have his plan for what Bloodstock's going to be. He will look at the list. He'll take guidance from it potentially, but he'll do what he's planning to do. Yep. And that's what we want. So good.
See, that was 3 and 1, basically.
Yeah, there we go.
So you might want to knock a couple out.
No wonder I keep struggling to fill these lists out, though. There you go. It's because I write too much. All right, so I'm going to do my first one, then, is hard to keep track of. Mm-hmm. I find his multiple projects difficult to keep up with, personally, okay? It's easy if you're a super fan of all his work or the man himself, but I'm not. That's the truth of it. Mm-hmm. I like the man a lot. I'm very, very impressed by him. I find him quite iconic, and I look up to him from an artistic and musical kind of perspective. Yep. But I'd be lying if I said I've been a fan. I haven't listened to half of the albums that he's released. Mm-hmm. In fact, if it wasn't for Empath coming out, I probably wouldn't. It's listening to Empath that made me then go back to other albums that I hadn't bothered with. That's made me more of a fan. Yeah. Which is great, because that's what albums are meant to do. Yes. But so like, for example, he announced a while back he was working on 4 albums. Yep. Some may be under Devin Townsend, some may be under the Devin Townsend Project, some may be new. You never know. Maybe one day another Strapping Young Lad album. Yep. But basically for me, it's like if you say Devin Townsend announces new music, for me it instantly almost raises a question about like which version of Devin Townsend. Yeah. I don't know what to follow. I don't know if I'm a fan of Devin Townsend, the band, or the project, or is it just Strapping Young Lad, or is it Casual, or is it just a man? Yep. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. I've got there's like so many different avenues, and I'm not sure which one of them I'm into. So when he announces something, even if he says it's going to be a new Devin Townsend Project album, I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Yep. Yeah. So he is hard to keep track of.
He is. I agree. In fact, I'm using Apple Music as a great example. Fuck me. It's not like you can just get all that lumped together. You've got to search for them individually.
Yeah. It's not easy to follow, man. But you know, like it's one of the weird things with him. It's why we don't hate anything about the man, because like I wouldn't change it.
Oh God,
this is all just part of what he is.
The charm,
you know.
Yeah.
So if I'll go in on another one.
Yep.
My next one is I've just written I hate this list. And I think partly, and there is some justification to it. I think partly because of number 3, but because of his eclectic style and genre hopping, I've never been a super fan. You know, I jump in and out. I jump in on iterations. I jump in on different projects, that sort of thing. And I guess because of this almost nonchalant feeling towards the whole thing, I've never found a list quite so hard to complete as this one. And this is only number 4, and I've written it's only going to get worse from here. There you go. It's not number 4 in the ones I've read out. It's just number 4 on my list.
Do one more because I did do 3.
Okay. So, prepare. Some of these are not going to be great.
Okay, that's cool.
It's all about me. I've written next. Terrible band names seem to be Devin's thing. Even Strapping Young Lad is a poor name. It's hardly the sort of thing you want tattooed on you, is it?
No, but SYL works.
Yeah, SYL works.
Yeah.
Until people go, what does that mean? You go, oh, it means I'm Strapping Young Lad. As for the rest, it's all about him. I'm pretty sure other people playing him put somewhere down the bloody line. And then I wrote, and yes, I do know it really is actually all about him, but I'm struggling here. And I put a little sad face emoji as well.
Oh, okay. We're talking about a band that's a project or a theme or thing he did. Actually, it's a cool name. Casualties of Cool.
That's not a cool name.
Casualties of Cool is a cool name. I just don't like it. As simple as that. The Canadian country rock duo. It was Devin and Che Amy Doval. I gave it a go. I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. This is one that I'm putting to the side, and I've not really given a chance since again. I just don't really care for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We double up on that one, so
fair enough.
I've literally written I'm not a fan. It isn't for me. I find it boring to listen to, too bland. Big dip into other genres. I get that was kind of the point, but it's not for me.
Yep. And talking about them more from the Devin Townsend project, Ghost. It's a miss. It's a miss album. It's as simple as that. And this will actually hurt me quite severely in regards to this, because basically I was getting into Devin Townsend all around this period, so I discovered everything at once. So I had Deconstruction, then I had like Addicted, and then I had Epicloud, and then I had Ghost. So at this point I'm like, oh my god, how could this is another one, Ghost, yay! And it was like, no, there's nothing on it. As far as I can tell, at least from me, that stands out at all. When I think of Epicloud, when I think Addicted, those two particularly around that period, that thing, I can name you songs right now that I would say, like, listen to these. Nothing of Ghost. Yeah. Nothing. And in my designer on set, not a single thing from Ghost.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my next one I'm still struggling with this list.
Oh my god.
So forgive me for this one. I don't think I mean this. I definitely don't mean this. Inadvertently, Devin's creativity was the start of the end of Jason Newsted being in Metallica.
Ha! Okay.
Obviously, because of the Physicist stuff. Metallica heard about it when the demo leaked, and that led to them banning him from being in other projects while in Metallica, which was obviously the big news story.
It was,
It's kind of like the beginning of the end, the death knell for it all, I think. And then I wrote, it's a bit like sleeping with another man's wife, having sneaky recording sessions with another band's bassist.
Is it though?
No, I needed to put something on the list. That's why I put it under still struggling.
Fair enough. Okay, I got 2 more, and they're both serious. Some of us know how to do lists. He might have hit his peak with Spirits Will Collide in regards to writing a song. Not talking about album overall, because I don't think Empath is his strongest work. But with Spirits Will Collide, I think he nailed everything great about him there. In the melodic stages, to the fact that it's got harder riffs, to his vocal capacity, to his lyrical delivery, to his ability to collaborate with others, e.g. the choir style singing, to his visual treat that is his video. One of the things I love about the video is not the wacky imagery, it's Devin himself. The way he moves, the way he touches his head at times to indicate things.
So it's not the Phil Collins gorilla.
Oh no, God no! All the elephants doing the drums are cool. The
video.
CGI is a bit shit, but there you go. But I think that's almost peak Devin Townsend. I said about albums in the hate thing, the love one, sorry, that I'd give Epicloud. But if I want someone to understand Devin, or really instantly like him, this is the track I'm playing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And don't get me wrong, when I say I think he's hit his peak, of course he fucking hasn't. He'll release something next fucking year that will have an even better track or as equally as good or something. It's Devin Townsend. But right now, it's like, that probably the greatest track you've written.
The good thing about peaks as well is like when you reach your peak, doesn't mean you have to come back down straight away. You can stay at your peak for another 10 years.
For another 10 years.
You know?
But it's on the hate list purely because I don't like the idea of him actually having hit said peak. And because the idea is the only way is down. Yeah.
So it's a worry.
Yeah, basically.
All right. My two actually having like completely ballsed up the rest of this list. I kind of came back in here with like a couple of legit ones. I was like, oh, I wish I thought these earlier. This one's not massively legit, but there you go. So he's quite a hard sale. And as people who love to try and convert others to our music, Devin is a hard one to sell.
Yeah.
You're right with Spirits Will Collide. And you can get people to enjoy tracks here and there. But you try and sell something like the 23-minute mentalness of Singularity.
No, it's not happening.
Or other, there's plenty of other examples of that as well. But when you convert something, and this has actually happened recently. It's a good example of a friend of ours. And I showed him Spirits Will Collide, and he was like, fuck me, this is a song. This is brilliant. Showed him the video, and he thought it's fucking mental, but it's a pretty cool video. And then he downloaded the album, and then he messaged me a couple of days later, and he went, yeah, I'm struggling with the rest of this stuff. He's like, there was a rooster crowing. A bear came out of the woods and started talking to a bashful fox. And I was like, yeah, it's difficult. He wasn't disliking it, but he was struggling. And he's a hard sell.
Yeah, I think that's great. All right, my last one. And it's simpler. The fucker gets me teary-eyed with the song Divine. Lyrics. Loving you is the best.
Cry? Are you going to cry while you
It's the way he sings it. This is one of his more softly sung things. It's actually one of his softest songs ever. But the lyrics basically go along the lines of loving you is the best thing and the worst thing in my life. Loving you is entire. And loving you is the one thing that I need right now. Fucking sweet ass shit, man.
Was he singing that to you?
Loving you is the best thing and the worst thing in my life. That is my attempt. That is the actual tune, but Devin does it a little bit better. But yeah, that was the best. Yeah, it's a wonderful song off EpiCloud.
Okay, my last one, which is probably the most serious one on my list. Weirdly enough, I'll save it for last. Kind of serious anyway, right? But I'm hoping he proves me wrong, basically, on this.
Yeah.
With my main Devin Townsend experience coming from Empath and then me kind of stepping back into the other stuff. So one of the things I notice a lot on Devin Townsend's music so far that I've listened to is that it is seriously mixed and produced.
Okay.
Like many, many layers, all designed to create a kind of clean, really, really clean sound. Lots of layers, lots of effects and, that sort of stuff going off in it. And I've written, you could argue, if you really wanted to, you'd have an argument to say it's quite manufactured.
Okay, yeah.
And I worry that his methods of getting to this tone and sound and the way his songs are structured and that will possibly not work well live. Remember,
Right.
I've never seen him.
Yep.
Without at least the very, very, very heavy use of the backing track. At least. But maybe even then. I genuinely hope I'm wrong. And I think I probably will be because I know that he's a proper musician and he'll be very aware of what he can or can't do.
Yeah.
But I do listen to songs like Spirits Will Collide and I think, how on earth do you produce that sound on a stage?
Right, yeah.
Because that is not a single guy playing guitar with drums and bass. That is gone through layer after layer of cleanup, of mixing, of add the little chime in here, add a little echo in here, add a little fade in, to get to this polished sound. And there's a little part of me, just a tiny little bit, that just goes, God, I hope like when he comes out and plays these songs at Bloodstock, that it just doesn't sound all like raw, unplugged versions of them.
Well, I'm expecting a stage of about 100 people.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of expecting. Yeah. There you go. 10 things we hate or mildly dislike about Devin Townsend. Let us know yours in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?